Hello everyone, this is Kyra with my Porch Prints, and today we are kicking off the Fall in Love with Junk Journaling Crafting collaboration. We're going to be hosting this through the week of August 11th to the 18th, where each day one of the amazing people you see listed here will be creating a tutorial with a fall-themed junk journal craft that you can watch and follow along with. As always, any important links or information will be down in the description box of this video, as well as posted on our social media channels under the hashtag FallinLoveJJ24. So make sure to follow us so you don't miss out on any of these crafts. Alright, so let me show you what we are going to be making today. For our project, I decided to use our Autumn Whimsy Scrap Pack that we just released with the fussy cuts that go along with it to make a simple soft cover journal, with the idea being that you could use it as the base maybe for some of the other crafts in the collaboration to go into, depending on what you make. And I wanted to keep it simple, so I'm using a hinge binding method using ribbon to create this sort of decorative pattern spine, which is really easy to do. And then I will also be decorating the journal a bit just to give you some inspiration. And speaking of decorating, I realize not everyone has time to make an entire journal, so as a bonus I'm also going to be showing you how to make these little layered fall leaf embellishments. And this craft actually comes with a freebie we will be offering to anyone who wants it, and you can find that link in the description box as well. And I'm going to show you how to make these into pockets, charms, paper clips, so if you want to skip ahead to any part of this video, you should be able to scroll through and find the timestamp you are looking for. Alright, I think that is everything, so let's go ahead and jump right in. Alright, so the Autumn Whimsy Scrap Pack comes with lots of different ephemera. I went ahead and printed it on cardstock and cut it out by hand. We also have these fussy cuts that go with it, also printed on cardstock, and I'll be using some of these as well. And then there's these pages that come with the scrap pack, and I went ahead and cut them all out again on cardstock. I didn't print on the back of them, just left it white. And I did go around the edges with some distress ink in the color Vintage Photo, but of course that's optional. I just kind of liked the look that it gave it. And the kit also comes with a bunch of these beautiful papers, so I went ahead and printed those out just on regular printer paper, front and back, and I'm going to be folding them in half. I'm going to be using about 14 sheets of paper to make this journal, and I'll be setting 2 aside for just general crafting later on. You don't have to do that, it's just kind of what I did. You could add more pages or less depending on how big you want your journal to be. And then another optional step is to distress those papers. So I'm going to be using the distress ink and also this paper shredder from Tim Holtz. You can find these links for these items in our Amazon affiliate shop down below in the description box. And this just adds a little bit more distressing to the papers, makes them look a little more weathered. And for inking them, I'm actually going to kind of spread the layers out and ink them all at once. This kind of just makes things go a little bit faster. It does create kind of a lighter inking, and it also gives it kind of this straight edge look. So if you don't like that, you can ink them by hand and take your time and do that, or go in and darken them up some more afterwards if you want to. But I kind of like the look, and it definitely saved me some time. Alright, so now that I've got all my papers and pages inked, we can actually begin assembling the journal. So I'm going to start with just 2 pages here, just back to back like this, lining them up at the crease. You want the crease in the center and then the openings left and right where the pages kind of flip open here. And right where they meet, we're going to connect them using a strip of ribbon. So I'm going to just grab some lacy ribbon that I had on hand. We will try to show you guys what we're using as we go here. If you want to ask in the comments, I can always tell you what I'm using. But you want the ribbon to be flexible. You don't want to use stiff ribbon, otherwise your book will not be able to fold. You want your pages to be able to fold. So you can use paper as well. I wouldn't recommend cardstock like this. This is a bit thick, but if you use regular paper, you can just fold it in half and glue it down the same way we're gluing down ribbon. So if you don't have ribbon and all you have is paper, that can also work for the hinge method. Okay? So I'm going to be using Fabri-Tac. This is a non-water-based glue and won't wrinkle the paper, so that's why we use it. It is a little pricey, but it's kind of worth the money. And we're just going to go ahead and glue the ribbon down to each sort of spine of our papers here like this. And then trim it up, let it dry, and it should just work like this. You can flip through your pages and they're held together. All right, and to continue making our journal, we're just going to continue the process by flipping those pages over and then adding another paper like this, and then adding another strip of ribbon, and continue that process over and over and over. And for me, I decided to just stick with 3 types of ribbon, a white lacy one, this orange polka dot, and then like a blue checkered one. And continuing a repeated pattern, so I was going white, orange, blue, because you can see them in the spine like this. And when it was done, I wanted it to have kind of a cohesive pattern here. So that's what I did. You could always wrap like something around the spine if you want to cover it up, but I kind of like the way that it looks when it's exposed here, so I'm gonna leave mine like this. And again, this is a soft cover journal. It's made with paper and fabric, so it is going to have a little give, but don't worry, once we add all the ephemera and the papers, like the cardstock pages in it, will have a little bit more stability. All right, so next I'm going to go ahead and decorate my cover. Now you can decorate yours however you want. I'm just kind of showing you what I did. So I took one of the cardstock pages here, just this decorative piece, and I'm going to glue it down to my cover, adding glue to the left side and the top and bottom borders, but leaving the right side open so that I could potentially like tuck ephemera into it if I wanted to, so it's sticking out kind of like this. It's like a little hidden pocket, right? And then I'm going to be wrapping some ribbon around the journal itself, just to kind of create a decorative binding and also maybe give it just a little more stability. So I'm going to kind of measure out how much ribbon I need, trim it down just like this, and I'm layering a couple ribbons just to make it look a little prettier. I'm going to also add some ribbon trim to the top and bottom of the journal as well. And when gluing it down, you want to make sure that you're adding glue to the front and back cover, but don't add glue to the spine, because if you accidentally glue your pages together, your journal won't open. And you also want to make sure that when you're measuring your ribbon, you don't open your journal like this, because once you close it, you won't have enough because of the size of the spine here. So you want to keep your journal closed when you measure out how much ribbon you use. All right, so again, don't add any glue to the spine, just the front and back covers. Glue down your ribbon here, and if you're layering your ribbons like I am gonna need to add a little bit of glue on the spine, but I'm just keeping it really light, smoothing it out with the glue, like making sure it's a very thin layer so it doesn't glop through the lace down into the spine. Just being really careful if you do that. And then, of course, just adding all of my layers here, just some decorative ribbon. We get a lot of our ribbon from like the Walmart clearance section. Hobby Lobby has some, Michael's has some, any craft store should have some ribbon. And then I'm also adding just a bit of a lace applique that I cut out. We got those on Amazon, I believe. And then also this little fabric flower. I'm not really sure where this came from. I kind of just found it floating in a random craft drawer, and I just thought the color was really pretty and I kind of liked it, and I wanted to add a little bit of dimension to the cover, so I'm just going to glue that there in the center. And there you go. That's a really quick way to decorate the cover of your journal. And of course, this is a soft cover, so it will still have some bend to it until you add all of the goodies inside of it. It's not all bad. It might mean that it doesn't tear as easily or things like that. It's stable in the fact that it's unstable. All right, so moving on from the junk journal, we're going to start on those fall leaves here. So how these are going to work is they're going to be layered up with a larger and a smaller piece like this. And I printed the smaller piece on these like dictionary pages. And right here you can see the template freebie that we're going to be giving you guys, where you could just print off the larger and smaller pieces on any paper or page you like. Cardstock or paper is fine. I prefer paper. And that'll save you the trouble of what I went through before we decided to come up with this template, which is I went out into nature and found some leaves that I liked, and then I just traced them onto some of those decorative pages that I saved, cut them out over and over again, just continually tracing. And right here is where I thought, it would be really nice to have a template for this. So we went ahead and made you one so you could save yourself that trouble. And these like book page and dictionary page papers are not part of the scrap pack. These are from the dictionary journal pages and the coffee stained book pages kit. Again, I will have that linked down in the description box if you are interested. But you can use any paper, it doesn't have to be that. Basically, you just want them to layer nicely together and kind of have some contrast. And to make the contrast even more, you know, stand out, I'm going to be going over the edges of both layers with some Distress ink. Now you could use like dry brushing acrylic paint or something like that. If you don't have ink, that's fine. I just kind of like the burnt edge look. It kind of gives it a little bit more distress. And you can also crush like one of the layers like this and then go over the wrinkles that whoa, that makes with some Distress ink, just to give those pieces a little bit more pop and a little more age to them. And then to assemble them, I'm going to choose about 3 of these leaves to turn into pockets. So I'm just adding glue into the smaller layer. I'm going to just add it along the bottom, a little bit up on the sides at the left and right, but we want to leave the top open so that we can tuck ephemera into it. And then for some of them, you could also make them into paper clips. So to do that, just find any paper clip. A larger one would probably work better for these larger pieces. And I'm just going to add a good glob of glue onto one side of my leaf and add my paper clip in like this. And then on the smaller part, I'm going to add a lot of glue to sort of sandwich that paper clip in just between the 2 layers like this. Go ahead and let that dry fully, and then you can use it to paper clip it. You could use it like a bookmark or to add to pockets, just kind of have a fun little fall embellishment. And then for the some of the other items here, I'm gonna just be adding some scrap fabrics that I had just lying around from the project. And I'm also going to add one of those fall fussy cuts like this. And just kind of decorate the front just a little bit here. And I'm going to punch a hole out of the top of the leaf, just with a regular hole punch. And then I'm going to add an eyelet to give that a little bit of stability. And then taking a piece of like twine or string or ribbon or anything you have, I'm going to be taking the 2 ends and looping it through that eyelet punch that I just made here, like this. And we're leaving a good portion to make a little loop at the top like this, sort of like a Christmas tree decoration. And I'm going to take those ends in the back and just tie them into a knot a couple of times to make sure it holds and won't pull through. Cut off the ends, and there you go. You've got kind of this cute little hanging fall leaf embellishment. And then for any remaining leaves, I'm just going to glue them together, nothing fancy, just let them be decorative embellishment pieces. And I liked the way that the fussy cuts layered with scraps looked, so I decided to go ahead and do that to all of my leaves. So just kind of layering pieces. You can go over the fussy cuts with Distress ink to make them pop a little bit more. Just use scrap paper, scrap ribbons, anything you have on hand, and just kind of make little clusters here. And they make some really cute little fall leaf embellishments for your journal. Alright, so now that we have all of our fall leaves and our base journal ready, we can go ahead and start actually decorating the journal. So I have all of my ephemera and all of these pages to put in. So let's go ahead and start with the pages. So I'm just going to take these panels and glue them into the journal kind of wherever I like them. Now I don't have enough for every page, but that's okay. Maybe you want to do some kind of different decorating on a page, or you want to leave it blank for something else, or you could print out more of these pages so that you have enough for every page. It's really up to you. And I'm going to add glue again to the one side and the top and bottom of these pages so that I have an opening that I can tuck ephemera into, and I'm going to do that with all of my pages. And these pages have, some of them are like square and lined, some of them are decorative. You could have 2 lined pages, you could make them all lined pages. It's really up to you and how you want to decorate your journal. It's kind of unlimited creativity here. You could really take this as far as you want. I'm just gonna keep things really simple for today's video since, you know, we have lots of projects to get to with everyone else in the collaboration, and I don't want to keep you here forever. But if you're looking for some ways to just quickly decorate, you could add pockets using like scrap papers. I'm going to be doing some of that. You could also use scrap ribbon to create belly bands to tuck items into, and again, that just adds a little bit of variation throughout the journal without a ton of time or effort, just to make things look a little bit more decorative. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to find some of my scrap papers here, and I'm just going to tear them into general triangle shapes. You could also do like rectangle shapes. You can layer your scraps to make layered pockets, and it doesn't take too much work, but it looks really decorative. And I'm also going to be using some of this wax paper that I distressed and created to kind of give it like, I don't know, it kind of reminds me of like a fall leaf, like a dead fall leaf sort of look. And to make that, I'm just gonna go ahead and tear a sheet of wax paper from my kitchen, and I'm just gonna be crumpling it up like this to give it lots of wrinkles. So go ahead and just crush it up, and then when you open it, it'll have all of these wrinkles, and you could use it like this. I think this looks pretty cool too, but I wanted mine to have sort of an aged look, so I'm going in with Distress ink, and I'm just gonna go over the edges and over all of the, like the entire sheet with that Distress ink. And you can also use like the Distress ink pad to make things go a little bit faster, but it will give you kind of a darker look on those raised wrinkles than if you just use the sponge. And you will want to let it dry just a little bit because the ink could come off a little bit, but once it's dry, it should be fine. Also, fair warning, I didn't know this, but wax paper is extremely flammable, and people have been telling me for years on our channel that I gotta be careful with the candle that I have in all of our crafting videos, and for about 2.5 years that I've been doing this, I've never had a problem with it, but today was finally the day.
What? Oh gosh. There you go. Put it down. Put it down.
And that was how I burned a hole in the carpet of the craft room. Yep, got some cool burns on my pieces here and didn't really want that. So yeah, just if you're using wax paper, no candles please. Take care of yourself. Make sure that you always have safety measures in your craft room in case something happens. Luckily, nothing too bad happened for us, so I'm gonna go ahead and continue crafting, but yeah, feel free to say I told you so in the comments. I know. Alright, so continuing on with the crafting, because we gotta just keep going here. I have a couple of these brown envelopes that I bought from Amazon. You can use any any envelopes that you have on hand. Like if you get junk mail, you could decorate those envelopes and use them this way. I'm just going to be tucking them either around a page or like under one of these little, page portions I have here. And that way you can create like a little envelope flip, and that's kind of fun, adds a little bit of layers and dimension and movement to your journal. So I'm going to glue mine in. You don't have to do that, but I just want mine to be a little bit more stable here. You can see it's kind of moving around while decorating. And I'm just going to glue one of my fall leaf pockets that I made, tuck it with some different little ephemera pieces and tags. I added some ribbon and some eyelets to them just to give them a little bit more texture. I'm going to begin tucking in ephemera into those little hidden pockets that I made. Another really easy way to decorate is to just take tags and scraps and layers, and you can just use a paper clip and paper clip them onto a page here like this. Really simple decorating that might look really beautiful and complicated even though it's not. And again, layers, layers, layers. So I'm just gonna add some cheesecloth and one of my fussy cuts, going over some things with Distress ink to make them stand out, trying to find pieces that have some contrast. And there you go. Really simple, really quick, decorated a whole spread here. Looks really pretty. Really like this page. And you know, you can just continue using scraps, continue using any kind of fussy cuts, embellishments, ribbons, buttons, anything like that that you want to decorate your journal. So I'm gonna go ahead and begin doing a little bit of that, layering up envelopes to create kind of a layered flip here. And you can go as far as you want with the decorating. I'm just keeping things, again, kind of quick and simple for this tutorial. If you want to, you could add like a brad like this one. I have this large brad. Again, we got this on Amazon, but you could use the ones that you get like from an office supply store. That's fine. And I'm just poking a hole in the top of the page, adding the little brad here, and I'm gonna hook my little leaf embellishment to it like this, just kind of looping my just loop around the brad, and there you go. You've got kind of this cute little swinging loop charm embellishment here. And then again, just kind of adding pockets, decorating those pockets with fussy cuts, filling them with various ephemera that comes with the scrap pack. And I didn't want to bore you by showing you the entire decorating process, but I will go ahead and kind of just show you a flip through of how it looks when it's done. I basically just used those same things I showed you over and over again for different pages until I felt like it was getting a little too full. And I went ahead and made like some charms here. I just used a bulb pin and some O-rings with a couple of tags that I added eyelets to, glued a button on, you know, just made them decorative, and just hung it from the front cover. And you can see how the spine still looks really cute with that matching pattern going over and over again. And then this page, of course, that I showed you guys that I first decorated. And again, just kind of flipping through here, lots of paper clipping little items on, adding simple pockets, tucking things into belly bands. And again, you could get really decorative with this. You could also go the other direction and have less decoration and make this more of a writing journal if you want, leaving lots of space for writing in. I think that would be also great. But since I had all this stuff on hand, I wanted to go ahead and try to decorate it. Like I had lots of little scraps, so like I made like, you know, sort of scrap collages along some of the pages, just gluing items down, layering things, you know, using some of that translucent, very flammable parchment paper. Again, you can see I swapped for a candle that's got a higher rim to it, so no more risk of fire here. But yeah, just be careful, you guys. Found that out the hard way. But you can hang your charms from your paper clips like this one. Again, I kind of left towards the back things a little more blank. And again, I encourage you to do that because you've got a whole week's worth of crafts coming in this collaboration. And I'm sure you're going to want to add some of those to your journal. So make sure you leave some room for that. Don't have to use up every piece right away. I think some of the collaborators might end up using this kit as well. You'll kind of just have to watch and see. So, you know, make sure to follow us and follow them as well so that you don't miss out on any of the collaboration projects. I'm so excited to see what everyone else is making. I had a lot of fun making this. It wasn't too difficult, but it was a really good time and it got me in the mood for fall. So I kind of hope that you guys all enjoyed watching. Thank you so much for crafting along with me. I hope that it's getting you in the mood for fall too. And again, if you're new here or if you've been here with us for a while and you don't know, we do have a newsletter where you can get freebies if you sign up for them at myporchprints.com. We also have a junk journal group on Facebook with over 15,000 members. It's very active, lots of people posting their projects, their crafts, their ideas, so please join them. We want to see what you guys are making. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching and we'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye!